So in this video, I'm going to be explaining how the platform Asana works and how I used it to keep track of the Pride Campaign project. So down here on the homepage, when you sign in, you've got a list of all of your recent projects. You can see that I've been using it for other things like tracking my apprenticeship, for recordings and releases for the RDK podcast, and things like that. So you can also have other members of your team who have separate accounts join so that you can all keep track of what you're doing, which is fantastic. So I'm just going to click on the Pride campaign that I created. Now, there are no other team members on this, it is just me. So let me just scroll up to June of 2021, because that's when we did the campaign. So it starts up here. So there's many different views that you can use. You can have an overview, a list, a board, a timeline, etc. I prefer to use the calendar one because I can then clearly see which days I'm posting and when things need to be done by. Obviously on June 1st, I've put in that we're going to put out the initial Pride post. You can see that I've ticked it off as well, which is great. Change the Paratus logo to a Pride version, and then the first post is going to go out then. I chose to do 2 posts a week and to do them so that they were spread out a little bit more, just so that we weren't overloading the timeline with Pride campaign posts. And there was a nice little break between each of them that would give me time to create the posts and do my research for each one. So what's great about this platform is that when you click on one of the tasks, it will then come up with this. You can see what it's called, you can assign it to someone. So it wasn't assigned to anyone because it was just me on this project, but you can assign them to other people down here. You can put in a description of what needs to be done, but obviously because it was my campaign, I knew what I was doing, so I didn't need to put any extra information in there. You can see the date that it's due. So that would be the date that the post goes out. And then you can ask questions or post an update. So if you are part of a team on one project, you can then type a little message or a little question, which the others can then answer. So I marked this as completed, which you do up in this corner. Let me just show you how that works. You can mark it as incomplete, but of course it was completed, so I've clicked complete. So that little animation that you've just seen, that was just a little celebration to show that I have in fact done the task. So if we get rid of that. Now it's quite easy to mark the tasks as done or not as well, just by clicking the little tick down here, and then you can show that it's done. So if we go to the overview section, you can also see that there are project roles. You can add members from your team. You can create a project brief and add little documents that will help with the project. You can mark the task as being on track, at risk, or off track. So if you're really struggling and you think you might not get something done, you put it as at risk. If you are completely off base and you've missed a deadline, you can mark it as off track. But we were on track through the whole thing. So just going to click on track. So this creates then a little update that you can let the team know how you are doing. So I'm just going to call it all done with a little smiley face and then post. Not that it matters, of course, because it is my project, but it's a nice little feature that they have there. If you want to be able to look at all of your tasks in one place just to see where everyone is with them and just how much is left, I think this is quite a good visual way of seeing it just by clicking on the list section up here. So if you'd like to start a new project, all you have to do is click this little plus sign up here and create a new project. You can use a blank project, a template, or import a spreadsheet that you already have. We're just going to click blank project here. So this is just a demo, so I'm just going to show you how I created the Pride campaign. So you've got 4 different ways of viewing the project. You can use the list feature, which we've already talked about. You can use the board, which shows what is coming up, what's in progress, and what's complete, which is quite a nice visual way of seeing what needs to be done and when. For people who have upgraded to premium, you can use the timeline feature, or you can use the calendar, which is the one that I chose just because I like to be able to visually see what days I need to be doing each task and when they're due. So you can start adding tasks immediately, you can set the project context, or you can share it with your teammates, and then you just click go to project and it'll take you right there. And that's how I used Asana.